Welcome to Legal Matters. AP Pencil. Your legacy lives on. May your soul rest in peace. This is Legal Matters. As soon as you join us, share the program for us. This is Legal Matters, brought to you by Justice and Law Solicitors. Still one share a day. Keep ignorance away. Share the program until you can share no more. One share a day. See us and join us. Share the program for us. Rest in peace. As soon as you join us, you know what to do. Share the program for us. Yes, you devil. Thank you for joining us. To join us. This is live show brought to you by Justice and Law Solicitors, 35B 49 Emperor Road, Brixton, London, SWT 1BZ. Share the program. Today's program affects everybody. Everyone is going to enjoy this program, whether you have British passport or not. What are we talking about today? People will be surprised. People will be shocked.
Go away from me. You never 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 go away from me. I don't know this hour. I don't know this hour. I don't know this hour.
You devil, go away from me. Yes, share the program for us. Following the bombshell by Farah. What is the legal position when you acquire British citizenship by deception? This week in the United Kingdom, throughout the media, social media, the news media, there has been a revelation. Farah, as we all know, came out and said that he is not the real Farah. The question then that follows was, who is the real Farah? BBC in their documentary did a documentary about Farah, his journey from war-torn Somalia to the United Kingdom, all the way to his citizenship and to the revelation that has come out. So today I felt that there is a need for us to revisit his story and the lessons that we can all learn from. Because many a times when people want to bring sometimes their family members, the immediate concern is not about using the legal means to get into this country, but their immediate concern is to get those children into this country. And sometimes people are influenced directly or indirectly to make the wrong choice, such as trafficking. And child trafficking is a serious matter. It's a criminal offense, and it does not go away. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the authorities can still come for you. if there is evidence of child trafficking. And this case is a case that I believe will highlight a lot of areas that we need to hear in order to learn lessons from this particular situation. So it's for that reason that I felt the need to also use Sir Mo Farah's case as a case study to do this program today to educate ourselves. So if there is someone who is thinking of doing something similar, today you might think it's a good idea. 10 years, 15 years along the line, you're going to find yourself in legal entanglement. And you're going to regret of taking illegal action. Because we look at Mo Farah's situation, some may argue Somalia was in the middle of a civil war. And therefore, maybe the person who smuggled Mo Farah into the UK perhaps did not think about the legality of it, but his concern was maybe to get him to safety. Some people may also argue that that was not the motive. The motive was to bring him to the UK and use him as a slave. Child trafficking. So there can be, two sides to any argument. And depending on where you stand. So now, I'm going to give a brief summary of Sir Mo Farah's journey to the United Kingdom. According to the BBC's program that was aired on Thursday, 9 p.m. And for me, as we are going through, I will also pinpoint certain things to advise people and also to explain the legal position and the law so that we can all learn a lesson from this. So if you have tuned in, it matters not whether you have immigration issue or not. For me, it's a lesson that we can all learn from this. We will also use this as a case study to explain the law to you. I.e., if you want to bring a child from another country to the UK, what are the legal means? What not to do? Because you can do it today thinking that it's okay. 10 years, 15 years along the line, the child comes to the UK, as happened in the case of Sir Mo Farah. The child feels like, he's not being treated fairly. The child feels like something is not right. The child goes to the authorities, alert the authorities that he or she has been brought into this country, and that she is being made or he's being forced to clean and feed the younger children, as it happens in Sir Mo Farah's case. He was not being sent to school in the few years that he was in the United Kingdom, until later on, when he went to school, the struggles that he went through as a child from Somalia, and how a teacher came to his rescue, how to call the social services, and that he had to be moved to another family. And that is where he started making impact. He started thriving. So we'll be looking at all this and the implications even for the teacher applying for British nationality, knowing that the identity that he was using was not his identity. So it's an interesting case study, and as we go along, I think we can all learn one or two. You may be holding your British passport. You may be holding your British passport. You may have your indefinite. You may not have had any issue with the authorities. But maybe you have sponsored a child to come to this country. Your purpose of bringing the child was maybe to be a domestic servant, indirect or under the radar. Be very, very careful, because it's not that simple and it is not that easy. Because you bring the child to the UK, ask yourself, did you use the legal means to get the child to the United Kingdom? Because if you do not, today, tomorrow, sooner or later, it can become an issue. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Farah are being investigated by the UK authorities for a potential child trafficking. The question that I'm asking myself, that I keep wondering, was that their intention for the child to come to the UK and become a domestic servant? I don't know. It's a question. I will follow the case, and any further update by all means I will bring it to you. Did they bring him in to mistreat him in any way? Or they brought him over to the UK to save his life? I do not know. Because at that time in Somalia, there was a serious civil war. The mother, according to the documentary, sent him to Djibouti, which is a neighboring country, to be with his uncle. The uncle, potentially, and others decided that maybe Djibouti wasn't the place for him. Maybe he should come to UK for a better life. Who knows? Nobody knows the true story until we hear from them as well. However, what we know is that during the civil war in Somalia, so now let's go back to the history, a brief history of Mo Farah and the lessons that you and I can learn from this. And as we go through, I will bring in the illegal implications. What should not have happened and what should have been done. And then hopefully we will all learn something from his demise or from his story. Mo Farah, as we all know, is an Olympian who ran 5,000, 10,000 for Great Britain. And he has done so well. And he has even been given a title, one of the highest titles of the land, the Knight of the British Empire. And therefore, he is called Sir. S-I-R. And therefore, now his name is Sir Mo Farah. This week, according to him, and from the BBC's documentary, he stated his name is not Mo Farah, which was a surprise to a lot of people. Instead, he was born Abdi Kahin. Abdi Kahin. During the civil war in Somalia, his father died when he was at the age of about 4. His mother and other family members, siblings, they had to run for their lives. Because as we all know, the Somalian civil war was a brutal war during the 90s. A lot of people lost their lives. And up to now, Somalia, arguably, is a failed state. That internationally, it is deemed to be not a safe place to go. Because they don't have a stable government. And they don't have, stable government institutions. I have a lot of Somalian clients. And I can testify, even some of the things that I've seen, it's very clear that Somalia, though it's on the up, they are picking up, they are doing everything that they can. The place is still a bit hostile, especially to Westerners. So, at the age of about 8, 9, Sir Mo Farah was smuggled to the United Kingdom. What happened was that during the Civil War, his mother sent him to live with his uncle in Djibouti. And nobody knows why, but for one reason or the other, another family called the Farah family, they had children. The wife was coming to the United Kingdom to join the spouse, the husband, who I believe was an IT technician. So they had a child, a boy, called Muhammad Farah. And for one reason or the other, he was replaced by the man that we now know as Farah, Semu Farah, born Abdul Kahin. The real Farah was replaced by Abdul Kahin. So Abdul Kahin, in simple terms, used another person's identity as Farah to enter the United Kingdom. And according to the paperwork, that means the Farah family were the parent of Farah. Farah entered the UK in an assumed identity during the crisis in Somalia. According to Farah, aka Abdul Kahin, when he came to the UK, he was living at West London in a flat with this family. According to him, he was forced to stay home and look after the ladies' children, clean and feed them, which in Western world is classified as domestic servant or domestic slave, where you are forced to work without getting paid, or where you are underage and you are being forced. And in Western world, they also call it child trafficking. Because he was a child, wrong identity was used for him to enter the United Kingdom. The word is illegally. The question was, or the question is, whether his parents or his mother had an idea, whether his family members were aware that he was being taken to the United Kingdom or not, was a question that he himself didn't know until he did the documentary, went back to their families and those people that he thought may have an idea to tell him what has happened in his past. Interestingly, he came to the UK in someone's identity, in someone's name, and he was forced to look after the younger children of the couple. Strangely, slowly, they enrolled him into school, West London Community College or so. His English wasn't that good. And that school at the time was mainly white, i.e. white children. And you have few minorities, such as African, Caribbean, Chinese, and so on and so forth. So, he wasn't good, i.e. his English wasn't good, and therefore he was struggling to fit in. And as we all know, it has happened to us all. When you come from Africa, everything is different, the culture is different, even the way they speak is different. Yet, we say they came to Africa to teach us English. You come to school and you say, I want garden eggs. They just watch your face and laugh at you. What is garden eggs? Nobody knows garden eggs here. You come in here and you say, I want groundnuts. Nobody knows groundnuts here. I remember this guy going to Tesco's and he thought he knows English. And he thought he was speaking good English. What did he say? I want to buy Thalia. And everyone is watching one. Thalia, what is that? Oh, Thalia. Thalia is like a string. Thalia. People started going around until they came to someone who is a Ghanaian. And the person said, oh, you mean spaghetti? Oh, yeah, of course, spaghetti, Thalia. And then you go to know. So there are certain words that we use in Africa, we don't use it in the UK. So regardless of what, the very day that you hit this country, things are different. And you may struggle a bit before you can catch up. Even when you open your mouth, the way you speak, the accent is thick and strong. And as soon as you open your mouth, sometimes people watch you like you are an alien. And I I don't blame them because it's alien to them. It's foreign to them. And therefore, to you too, it's foreign to you the way people speak in this country. Like Abronoma said, Ononkuraba London, when he speaks to every woman, they say, what? As if they are throwing up. But where we come from, we say, what? Then we know that you are asking something. But when they say, what? You are lost. When they say, in it, but where we come from, we say, isn't it? So when you come, you are going to struggle. That is a fact. And we all learn when we come over. So regardless of your level of education in Africa, when you come to the UK, things are different. And therefore, we all learn. So he came in, he struggled. He got into fight at school. People will pick on you. No doubt about that. It's happened to us all. People pick on us. But we were strong not to get into fist fight and be smart and be clever. So as a result, he got into fight and so on and so forth. And one teacher, a PE teacher, took him under his wings. Assured him that, he'll be all right. And according to the PE teacher, the only language that Farah appears to, or the only subject that he appeared to understand, was just running. Physical education, PE. And he thrived. And basically, they start building him up. And he started running for the school, running for the county, running for national. And then they had to travel to Estonia for him to represent the United Kingdom. But this is a refugee boy with no passport. How can he travel? So the idea came for him to apply for British passport. See, this is the legality of it. And when we finish, we will come to deprivation and the requirement of applying for British passport. So let's listen to the story very carefully, because everyone has got an opinion and everyone is expressing an opinion. So, when it came to it, Farah confided in the PE teacher and told the PE teacher that he was brought to this country by this family, and the family that people think are his mother and father are not really his mother and father. They brought him to this country and they are making him do domestic chores. And he was not being treated right. So the teacher, basically they were forced to get the social services involved. And the social services were told the story, according to the documentary, how he was brought to this country illegally by using an assumed name. So the social services became aware of this predicament. And the social services moved him to another family. Now listen to the strange thing. That other family too was connected to the family that brought him over. All the same, that family took him in, and according to the documentary, that is where he started thriving. Fair enough. So when it came to the application of the British passport, the PE teacher was aware that he was not called Farah. Okay. According to the PE teacher, he himself, according to the documentary, he stated at some point he was thinking, hold on, I'm helping this boy to apply for British passport. At the same time, he's told me that name is not his real name. Am I doing something wrong here? According to the PE teacher, the fact that the social services were aware, as far as he's concerned, he was not doing anything wrong. This is what he's saying. Fair enough. The school and the social services and people involved who are aware at the time, since no action was taken against him, they also assumed that then it's fine. So British passport, the PE teacher helped him to apply for a British passport under the name that he has acquired. That was not him. So he got his British citizenship in the name of Mo Farah. He ran for United Kingdom, the Olympics 2008, 2010. He won Olympics gold for Great Britain. And I believe the rest of it, you all know, is the story and is the history. He's married to a British citizen. They have British children. He's been to so many different shows, and he has always stuck to the storyline, i.e., he came to join his father and blah, 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 blah. He's even written a book, and in that book, that is what has been stated, that he came to join his father. When he came, he was under the age of 10 and using a false identity. Right. Now, he's been to so many different shows, he has stuck to that story. But for one reason or the other, he decided to come clean. The question that is bothering me, what is going through my mind, is all those involved, knowingly or unknowingly, what is going to happen to them by application of the law? That is the question that is going through everyone's mind. Now, we know that if you're applying for a passport, you will need a referee to countersign section 10 of the passport. The referee have to write at the back of the picture that I certify that this is the true likeness of Mo Farah. And then you will then sign it and date it. That you, the referee, certify that that is the true likeness of Mo Farah. You sign it and you date it. The question is, now that we know that he is not the real Mo Farah, the person who signed that he is the real person, what is going to happen to the person? That is one. These things are going through my mind. I don't know what is going to happen. So sometimes when you ask for a favor and the person say, I cannot do it, it's not because the person is wicked, because if the person cannot certify that Ajua Mansa is Ajua Mansa, why should he put his neck on the line for something that he does not know about? What is going to happen in 10 years, 15, 20 years, 30 years time? These are questions that I am asking. Now, the person who signed the back of the passport picture, who certifies section 10 to say that this is the real identity of Mo Farah. Now that we know it is not, he is not the real Mo Farah, what action is going to be taken against such an individual? These are big questions that we all have to be open-minded about this. 2, the PE teacher who was aware that he was not called Mo Farah. Instead, he is Abdi Kahin, using someone's identity. What is going to happen to him? Aiding and abetting? Question mark, I don't know. The social services, the social worker in charge of the case, if she was aware of this and perhaps swept it under the carpet, and if she is still practicing, what is going to happen to the social services or to the social worker? The people who brought him into this country, the Farah family, now there is an allegation or a claim that they have been involved with child trafficking, modern day slavery, breaking the immigration rules, fraud, identity theft, and so on, what is going to happen to this family? At the time, in the height of civil war, in their minds, were they thinking about saving life, or they were thinking about bringing a child to this country and mistreating the child? At the moment, nobody knows. But these are possibilities, you see. I can see this week, there's media, or some part of the media, all that they are talking about was that he was brought to this country. He was not brought to this country to be treated as a human being, but to be used as a slave, to be used as a domestic worker. Could it also be that maybe they were trying to help their child to survive, and therefore they use illegal means to get their child to this country at all costs? It's a question mark. These are questions that I think people have to be fair and balanced, because until we hear from them that this is what their aim was, I don't think we should condemn them straight away like that, as some part of the media are doing. Because if there is a civil war and you are running for your life, I don't think you'll be thinking about going to get a visa. I don't think you'll be thinking about going to apply for a passport to travel. I don't think you are going to think about anything else but to be thinking of safety. And by definition, if you are fleeing persecution on the grounds of race, political opinion, religion, nationality, and sex, how many refugees run to the UK with their passport? By nature, when people are running for protection, they tend not to have any form of identity. And unfortunately, the legal reality is that most refugees may use illegal means to enter the United Kingdom. And sometimes they are aided by agents, or sometimes their family members. But we also know that aiding and abetting illegal entry is also a criminal offense. But if someone is facing, immediate danger to their life and to their basic survival, what is it that they have to do? So this is a very, very complicated case. It's never easy. It's never easy. And as a result, people need to understand that we cannot simply condemn actors in this, because it's a very, very unique case and very, very complicated case. Farah had his solicitor, and also they had to go and see a barrister at one Pump Court. And the barrister, they tell him that there is a real risk that your citizenship can be revoked because you have used illegal means to obtain your British citizenship. However, what may go in your favor is that when you came, you were under the age of 10. The significance of 10 is a principle in this country, and that principle is called Dolai Inkapa or Doli Inkapa, depending on how you want to pronounce it. When we say Doli Inkapa, what does that mean? Dolai Inkapa is a Latin word, means incapacity, the age of criminal responsibility. So in this country, if you are under the age of 10, you cannot commit a criminal offense. And even if you commit a criminal offense, you cannot be prosecuted. And therefore we say you are not criminally liable. You cannot commit a criminal offense if you are under the age of 10. So arguably, when Mohammed Farah, i.e. Abdul Kahim, when he came to this country and he was using false identity to come to the United Kingdom, Yes, he used false identity, but yes, he was under the age of 10, and therefore he is protected by the principle of Dulai Incapa. So he cannot be used. It cannot be used against him. He cannot be criminally liable for using someone's identity at the age of 9. The question is, what about when he was applying for citizenship naturalization? At that time, he was over the age of 9. The question that people are also asking was that he knew that his name was not Muhammad Farah. He knew that Muhammad Farah was someone's identity. He knew that when you are applying for naturalization, you must not give false representation, or you must not lie. What did he write on the citizenship or the naturalization application for? It's likely that he would have written Abdul Kahin. Question that people are asking, or one may ask, is on the forms, did he also disclose that he has used another name in the past by the name of Abdul Kahin? It was not very clear in the documentary. However, what has happened is the Home Office have made a swift announcement that they will not take any action against him, which most people believe is the right thing to do, taking into consideration his circumstances. However, what are the lessons that you and I can learn from this predicament? What are the lessons? Number one lesson, regardless of who the person is, do not engage in smuggling of a child into the UK. If you are involved today, tomorrow, 10 years, 20 years along the line, you never know when something may switch over and you could be prosecuted for a criminal offense. Now, Muhammad Farah, the couple that smuggled him into the UK, they are under investigation. The investigation, they've managed to trap Mr. Farah, who is back in Somalia, for an interview where he said was that he is not well and he's not fit to be interviewed. When he's ready to talk, he will let them know. 2, Mrs. Farah, investigation has shown that he's living at West London. Now the media basically looking for her. The British authorities are also looking into this. So you can imagine what they'll be going through now. I don't know their purpose, their motive from day one when they decided to engage in this activity. But the lessons that can be learned, if you want to bring a child to this country, use the appropriate means. Use the legal means to get the child into this country. 10 years, 20 years, you have nothing to be worried about. But if you smuggle a child into this country illegally, one day, if it's not a child, it may be someone else who may perhaps bring this to the fold. And once it comes to the fold and it is deemed to be a criminal offense, you are not going to go scot-free. This country does not even care, even if you are dead. They can still prosecute you and punish you, even if you are dead. So be very, very careful. People get punished all the time. And I will use example, Jimmy Savile. He was given knighthood when he came up, that he was a child molester and all that. All the titles that he got, even though he's dead, but it has been stripped off. It's very, very important that we learn lessons from this. 2, if you give someone or you ask someone for a favor, for the person to attest or to sign section 10 of your child's passport or a family member's passport or a friend's passport, and the friend says, sorry, I cannot do it, don't take it personal. If he does not know the child, no one should do this, period. Because if you do it and it's not the child, 10 years along the line, 20 years along the line, the same child turns around and says that my name is not Yadikro. In fact, I was smuggled into the UK, and you sign it that he is Yadikro. You could be contacted by the passport office. How are you going to justify yourself? That one, everyone for himself, God for us all. Self-preservation must always come first. If you don't know the person, don't do it. Let the person say you're a bad guy. At least you keep your head. Self-preservation. Thirdly, if you unknowingly give information out, or you help someone aiding and abetting, 10 years, 20 years, it can still come back and haunt you. So you have to be very, very careful. Because this case is just a case study that we can all learn from. So all that I say to you is this: naturalization process, immigration process is not easy. Today you might think that you've got away with something. Tomorrow it can come back and bite you. And his story, for me, is a lesson that we all must learn from. And I believe that by learning from this, it will help us to do things right in the future. So today, when we come back, we are going to be looking at means and ways in which you can acquire British citizenship. And then we'll also look at deprivation of British citizenship. Even after you have acquired British citizenship, it can be taken away from you. Section 40 of the British Nationality Act. We'll be looking at this. I've been talking for 51 minutes. Let me just take a quick break, get something to drink, and then when we come back, we will continue. Don't touch the dial. Let's use this time. Let's share the program. Let's give it to people so that they can also learn. Regardless whether you are a British passport holder, whether you are now fighting to get a British passport, whether you have indefinite leave, whether you have limited leave to remain, this is a program that goes for everyone. So if you are in a church group, you're going to take this commercial break, use this time to share in any group that you are in, because this is a program that can save someone's citizenship. This is a program that can save someone from going to prison. This is a program that can save someone from engaging in child trafficking issues. The person may not know that certain act may be deemed to be a child trafficking, and therefore we need to educate ourselves and educate each other. So please, let's do the best that we can. Share the program. We need to go viral. We need to go everywhere, and we need to learn. Now, Abby Kinsel, or Abby Kinsel, we all know that he has passed on to glory. Passed on at the age of 79. Let's play this music or this song to remember him and for his contribution to Ghanaian music and Ghanaian life. This is a song that one of my mates, Mr. George Osei Esibe, he used to use this tune to entertain us when we were bored at school. And that song is called Moses. Ebi, dem fankai wa ah.
One can share one, and I won't tell you. And I won't blow. More mind in the Yawagana. Bibiara your model. Bibiara your model. Yeah, Bobby stands. I'm here so much in your body. Feelings. In your feelings. Yeah, you do man. That man ran say.
That's right. That's a big cancel of a blessed memory. Aye, We say Moses pa. Dear afternoon anyway, rest in peace. He was a legend. If you are so you will be a day kayano. AB Council.
Yen bellow down popcorn.
They sound like you man no.
Yen don't make the hopes. Yen pembo you wear socks.
That's right. Yen pe
baby, tantale. We are one yapping.
That's right.
Yen Bobby stand. I'm yes so much in your feelings.
That's right.
Yes, I human.
Diamond pin.
Man can't be here.
Yes, sana etie ewiase obia wode de ekai no. Ne papa mo ni boni mo obia on the good side ne the bad side. Enti sana ewiase etie. Ebi Kinso nyame fa krensie. Waye bia magana. Yeda wase. That's right. ABC tadare.
Vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, E.
That's right. And you know, now let's look at deprivation of British citizenship. Let's look at the law. Let's look at what has happened in Mo Farah's case and what the law actually says and what the Home Office have decided. It's good for him and his family. The Home Office are not going to take any action. He's going to keep his citizenship, and therefore it's a very good news for him. But if you look at under Section 40 of the Nationality Act, what it says is this: British citizenship can be taken from individuals if it will be conducive to the public good to deprive the person of his or a British citizen. Typical example is Begum, the lady who went to Syria, became a bride and fighting for ISIS. Her citizenship has been taken away, and now the case is ongoing. The fight is going through the courts. 2. Where the person acquired the citizenship or status as a result of his registration or naturalization on or after 1st of January 1983, the registration or naturalization was obtained by means of fraud or false representation or the concealment of any material fact, or where the person acquired the citizenship or status on account of his registration or naturalization before 1983, the registration or naturalization was obtained by means of fraud, false representation, or the concealment of any material facts. So basically, if you obtain British citizenship by fraud, false representation, or by way of concealing means not disclosing material fact that could affect the outcome of the case, then it can be taken away from you. Say Mo Farah's case, the UK government have decided not to take any of this course of action. Some people have come up arguing that if he was not well known, if he was not a public figure, no doubt maybe the outcome would have been different. You know, a lot of people have come out to defend the Home Office have done the right thing. There are also others who are claiming that his status in our community have saved it Bob. If not, like he'll be facing potentially deprivation of his citizenship. Wrong or right, lessons can be learned from his predicament. And it's a lesson to us all that if you want to bring a family member who is a child, if the child, the mother has died, the father has died, the child is destitute, or maybe things are not right, and you are the one you are the person who is looking after the child, by providing financial support, making decisions about the child, and so on and so forth, then the best thing to do is to adopt the child. If you adopt the child, by law, the child becomes your legal child. And therefore, you can then make application for a child to join you in the United Kingdom. Next week, we'll be talking about adoption. How to bring a child through an adoption. What type of adoption is recognized in the UK? And even if the adoption is not recognized in the UK, can you still fight it through the court and win your case? Ghana, for example, the list of accepted adoptable countries is not on the list, but there has been an update. Nigeria, for example, is not on the list, but there is a case law that shows that if certain mechanisms are in place, if certain things have taken place, then of course, regardless whether it is on the acceptable or recognized adoption list of the United Kingdom or not, as long as you can prove certain things, then of course, there could be something called the de facto adoption route in which you can choose. It's a tough one, but next week we will take our time and go through the adoption route and the de facto adoption route to help people in this predicament, in this situation. So, British citizenship, as we know, it can be deprived if one of the three elements can be found. Deception, false representation, and concealment. We need to understand this. And if you want to apply the law strictly, toughly, literally, as it reads, then unfortunately, I'm afraid Farah's case fall within that. Why does it fall within that? Because he came to this country through false representation. 2, there is also element of concealment, using someone's identity, because it falls within this, in which the UK government had the power to remove his citizenship. But taking into consideration, his contribution to community, society, and I believe, the fact that, he's also, comported himself. 2, he came in at the age of 9. He could not have committed a crime. And to some respect, some people may also argue that he's a victim. Because after the program, he still does not know why he was brought to the UK. Because the very people that he could have asked, he can't find them. So that is how it is. And thank you for your contribution. Because he is an asset to the country. Maybe that's an argument that people can also advance. So nobody knows, but lessons can be learned. So deprivation, if this happens, then of course you can be deprived of your citizenship. Now, let's look at how you can become British. Because of time, I will not go too much into details, because we got the second segment, which is about another second case about a lady who went to Jamaica, and once again, the importance of applying for British citizenship. Some people think it's too expensive, they will not do it, but they will only do it when there's fire on their back. We will use his case as a case study to advise you and also to explain the law to you. So how can you acquire British citizenship? Let's look at that, and then you will then come to the second case. British citizenship, there are so many ways in which one can acquire British citizenship, and this is set out in the British Nationality Act. If you look at section 1 to section 11, you will get all that you need to know. However, if you look at the section 11 of the British Nationality Act of 1981, it explains which people born before 1st of January 1983 acquired British citizenship automatically on the date that they were born. So, for example, before 1st of January 1983, people born in the United Kingdom, if they are Commonwealth citizens, they were automatically British, and therefore they didn't have to do anything. So, British by birth. So, if you were born before the 1st of January 1983, you were sent back to Africa for one reason or the other, you now want to come back, then there is still a room for you to apply for British citizenship. People should bear this in mind. Section 1.1 and Section 1.2 of the British Nationality Act explains which people born or deemed to have been born in the UK on or after 1st of January 1983 or in the UK or a qualifying territory on or after 21st of May 2002 acquired British citizenship. Once again, if your father and your mother were married and you were born during this period, automatically you were a British citizen. If your mother was British and you are born, you are British. But if your father was British and you were born within that time, you were not British, because the rule is that the parties have to be married. And therefore, there was an argument that there is a discrimination between married couples and unmarried couples. So the law was changed in 2007. But before that, anyone, if a mother is British and you are born, you are British. But if a father is born, your father is British and you are born, you are not British, because fathers were deemed not to be able to pass on their citizenship to their children unless they were married to the child's mother, which was deemed to be discriminatory on the grounds of sexuality. And on that basis, a decision was made for the law to be repealed, and it was repealed. Now let's move on. Section 1.5 of the British Nationality Act of 1981 explains which people acquire British citizenship by adoption or parental order in the UK on or after 1st of January 1983. As we say, if you adopt a child is your child, and therefore your citizenship can be passed on to your child, depending when the adoption takes place. If you need more information, get in touch with Justice and Law Solicitors, and we'll go into details, assess your circumstances, and advise you accordingly. Section 1.2 and 1.3 of the British Nationality Act 1983, into bracket Falkland Islands, explains which people born or deemed to have been born in the Falkland Islands on or after 1st of January 1983 before 21st of May 2002 acquired their British citizenship automatically at birth. And we go on with Section 2.1 as amended, that relates to people born outside the United Kingdom. So if you have a British passport and you are born outside the United Kingdom, in some cases you are British by birth. So if both parties, your mother and father, are married, you are born outside the United Kingdom, you may be able to get your British passport straight away. If your father was not married to your mother, then unfortunately you have to register first under Form K to become British before you can get British passport. However, the law has also changed due to some amendment from 2007, and also recently, I can't remember the exact date. If your father is British, whether married to your mother or not, since 2007, and your father is holding a British passport, and you are born outside the country, and your father obtained his citizenship by way of naturalization, what the law says is, if your father obtained his citizenship other than by way of descent, then that citizenship can be passed on to children born outside the United Kingdom. So let me use this as an example. So Lawyer Darko, I have my British passport. I go to say maybe Freetown. I go to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is Freetown, isn't it? Yeah, Sierra Leone, Freetown, and I engage myself in an entanglement with a local lady. Say the local lady gives birth. Maybe say today, since I have a British passport, and my British passport or my citizenship was obtained by way of naturalization, then automatically my son or my daughter that will be born in Freetown is also British, and I can then apply for British passport for my son. Overseas passport, British overseas passport. So that is how it is. And then we look at Section 6, Section 6.1 and Section 6.2. Once again, is by way of naturalization for people who have come in, obtained indefinite leave and want to become British. So the criteria or the requirement is that at least If you are married to a British national, you have to have a residential requirement of 3 years. If you are married to non-British national, residential requirement is 5 years. If you are married to European national, once you complete the 5 years and get your indefinite leave, you have to acquire another 1 year before you can then apply for the citizenship. The key is that you must not be living in the United Kingdom within the last 10 years illegally. If at any time within the 10 years you have resided in the UK illegally, then that can become a problem for you. So you must make sure that you have clean record before you apply for your citizenship. If you don't know what you are doing, get in touch with Justice and Law Solicitors, and we'll be able to give you more details and help you to apply for your citizenship successfully. Over the years, we have helped so many people to acquire their British nationality and their British citizenship and their British passport. That is our job. That is what we do. Now, let's go to the second segment. There's someone will say hula baloo in the social media. And when I posted this on my Facebook wall, I got a lot of reaction. Some people, example, Nana Akosua Jankroma the first, he said that this is wickedness. I don't understand this. This is so terrible. How can they treat someone like this? I had so many people commenting the right and the wrong about the Home Office decision not to allow a child born to a parent who has got indefinite leave to remain. The child was born in Jamaica, and for refusing the child leave to come to the United Kingdom. Now let's look at the story. It's important that we look at the story and then we look at the law. And I always say this, law is not the same as morality. We really need to understand this. Academic writers, political writers, if you read political and law theories, and I always look at Locke and Hobbes. They are opposite sides. Locke will be arguing that it's humane to do this, to do that, blah, blah, blah. Locke will say, no, the law is the law. Apply the law as it is. You cannot merge the two. Morality is different from law, and law is different from morality. But where law and morality meet, that is where we get common sense. Because sometimes the law, someone will say the law is an arse. People say that all the time. Excuse my English and my language. I don't know any other words to put it. Because sometimes you look at the law and you say, hold on. How can they make such a law? But what we have to realize is that we are all human beings, and when we are making laws, we cannot anticipate any kind of scenario or every type of scenario to incorporate into the law. But when it comes to the application of the law, sometimes that is where certain scenarios, come to light. And then you look at the law and people say the law is an arse. Not because people go there and make ridiculous laws, but it's just that during the implementation process, during the formulating process, people did not think about certain kind of scenarios. And therefore, when it comes up, it makes the law look stupid. So sometimes these things do happen. That is the reason why in Great Britain, we have unwritten constitution. And someone will say unwritten constitution bring uncertainty. Very typical example is Farah's case. This is a case that the law clearly says that if you obtain citizenship by deception, by concealment, by false representation, it must be, you have broken the law. It must be taken away from you. But because we have unwritten constitution, we are able to apply common sense where they need be. So in this case, the Home Office, the people, the powers that be, decided to apply common sense not to take any further action. If this was America, believe in me, this guy would be in trouble. Because American Constitution, the law is written. And when the law is written and it's A is A, B is B, and therefore it brings a bit more certainty. And even that, there is still judicial made laws, judge made laws, where cases will go to court and judges will twist the using of words and to make it acceptable to society. But arguably, someone would say, when you have a written constitution, it's a bit more clear and it's a bit more certain. But our own written constitution allows us to apply common sense and also to move with times, because we are not entrenched to follow certain things in a restrictive manner. So that is the reason why I believe the Home Office made the decision not to take further action against Sir Farah. Now let's look at this case. This is a case that a lady got stranded in Jamaica, and she went to Jamaica when she was pregnant, and she's been there for about 2 years. She had a baby, and she's trying to get the baby to the UK, and she had some struggles. Later on, she was not getting anywhere. She got the Guardian newspapers involved and other agencies, and everyone started complaining basically. And within 24 hours, all of a sudden, the case is resolved. And I came back and put it on my Facebook page as well. So I will say to you, every time that you guys want to know an update, subscribe to Justice and Law Solicitors Facebook page. Every time that there is an update, any legal update, I will post it there. And also to Fire Life Radio Facebook page, I will put it out there. Fire Life Radio YouTube page, we will paste it there. Justice and Law Solicitors YouTube page and Facebook page, we will put it there as well, so that all the time we can all educate each other and ourselves as the law changes. So, a British resident stranded in Jamaica with a baby, who was told by the Home Office the boy could not come to the UK because he had an established life on the Caribbean island, has now been told by the Home Office that she can bring him after Guardian exposed the family's plight. Just 24 hours after the Guardian's article was published, the Home Office have granted the baby visa and informed his mother, Tiffany Ellis, who has indefinite leave to remain in the UK, where she has lived since the age of 8, that it was ready for immediate collection. Ellis said she was so overjoyed when she received a call from the Home Office official on Tuesday informing her that she could collect her baby's visa right away that she lay on the floor and cried. Quote, "I called my husband, who was at work, to tell him the news, and he cried too. The decision from the Home Office is long overdue. I will get the first flight home that I can. I can't wait to hug my husband and my daughter." Tiffany went to Jamaica to marry her partner, Zaren Ellis, 38, in January 2020, accompanied by their daughter, Sienna, now 5. The couple live in London. COVID lockdown followed by Tiffany, 28. COVID lockdown followed by Tiffany, 28, getting pregnant and suffering from constant vomiting, hyperemesis, gravidarum, so severe she was unable to leave the house, had delayed the family's return to the UK. Tiffany gave birth to Sian on 30th of April last year in Jamaica and has been trying to return to the UK ever since. She made a visa application for the baby, but last December, the Home Office refused it, stating, "You currently live and study with your mother in Jamaica." Officials wrote that the decision was justified by the need to maintain an effective immigration and border control and would not have unjustifiable harsh consequences. The refusal letter added that the baby's life can continue in Jamaica with financial support from his mother in the United Kingdom. The Home Office refused Sian's visa application on 22nd of December when he was almost 8 months old. Zaren felt he had to return to London last December so that Sienna could attend school. They had to leave Tiffany and Sienna in Jamaica because of the Home Office visa refusal. Father and daughter are at the family's home in London, desperate to rebuild with Tiffany and Sean or Sienna. So, let's look at the situation. This is a lady living in the United Kingdom from the age of 8. She's got indefinite leave. It's not very clear when she obtained the indefinite leave. But I can bet my bottom dollar that she has had indefinite leave for a very long time. If and only if she had applied for British citizenship and has acquired British passport, the child would have been automatic British regardless of where the child was born. Now listen to me clear. Some people tell you that it is not important to apply for British passport. This is very typical example. I always say this to people. When someone tells you that don't apply for British citizenship, ask the person, do you have one? Did you qualify for one? Because many a times those who do not have it, those who do not qualify for one, will tell you not to do it because they can have it, so they will tell you not to get it. Be afraid of the person that gives you such advice. Believe in me. I always say this. If I want to make money, I will not go to a poor man for advice. Hell no. Because every poor man is wise. Every poor man knows how to use money. Every poor man has to know how to invest money. But the rich is a fool who doesn't know how to invest money or how to use money. Because every poor man will tell you how stupid, how silly the rich man is. A rich man will buy a nice car, drive in it. A poor man will say how stupid he is. That car can buy a house. But the rich man knows that car can make him more money. Because by using that luxury car, he's able to move from A to B to make a lot of money. But the poor man think poor. The rich think rich. If you don't have money, you say rice is not filling. No matter how much you eat, your belly will never get full. But a rich man will tell you that rice is filling because a rich man has got enough money to buy enough rice to fill his belly. So it's very, very important that we understand these things. So now, she was stuck in Jamaica. She went to Jamaica. She had a baby during the COVID, and therefore she was stuck because the child is not British, and therefore the child, she had to do Jamaican passport for the child and then apply for leave to enter because the child is a foreigner. The child is not British by birth and the child is not British national, and therefore the child will acquire the mother's status. If the father was British, they could have applied for British passport. So therefore, by definition, the father too is not British. And therefore, what then happens? The mother have to join the queue and apply for leave to enter. The application was refused. Why? Because the mother is a Jamaican living in Jamaica at the time, and therefore the mother could look after the child in Jamaica. And therefore, for that reason, the application was refused. However, if you apply the law and the mother is coming back, the family is settled here, then of course the immigration rules allow that to happen. But it was taking so long, the frustration, the cost involved, and so on. Newspapers got involved. Maybe it's a coincidence. The next day, within 24 hours, Home Office called the child that your visa is ready for collection. So it's for this reason that I always advise people that if you have indefinite leave to remain, do the best that you can and apply for the British passport if you qualify. Now, a lot of people are saying that the life in the UK test is too tough. The F is too tough. But you have to soldier on. And you cannot just sit there and pass. You have to put in the effort. And many people don't want to put in the effort. The excuse that they come up with, my head is dead, this and this and that. Must have no excuse. Recently, one lady was arrested for doing 100 tests a day for different people and charging them all sorts of money. Now, when you go to the test center, they screen you. They watch you, they look at everything to make sure that you are not impersonating someone. Anyone who impersonates someone going to prison, going to jail. So no connection anywhere, just learn it and go and do the test. It's very, very important. Once you obtain your British citizenship, that is where you can relax a bit. Because without obtaining it, anything can happen. No one saw COVID coming. COVID just came from nowhere. Some people were trapped in other countries. Can you imagine if this lady was trapped maybe in Spain or maybe in Ghana? Like there would have been a struggle to get a Jamaican passport from the beginning. And another struggle to obtain the visa. Where would you be staying if you were living in a hotel? So it would have been a disaster for her. Stuck in a foreign country with no money coming in. And then basically you are stuck. What will you do? You know, if you're holding British passport and you are stuck in any other country, you can go to the British embassy. They can even give you a loan to survive and come back. And when you come back, you pay. There are certain countries that unfortunately you may not be so lucky. I'm not here to criticize any country, but all that I'm saying is it's got advantages. And therefore, if you qualify, do the best that you can and apply for it. And if you want to apply for it, don't go to someone who does not have one to advise you. Go to someone who has got one to advise you. Like I say, if I want someone to advise me about how to make money, I will go to a rich man. He may be the fool of the town, but his foolishness has earned him riches. And he'll be able to perhaps show me the way to become rich. So that is all that we've got for you today. The last bit is something I need to say about someone who was detained unlawfully during the pandemic, during the COVID. The person has been awarded £17,500 by the Home Office for unlawful detention. So if you were detained during the lockdown time and you feel that the detention was unlawful, this is a precedent case that you can also look at and perhaps consider whether you want to take the Secretary of State or the Home Office to court. The cases are, into brackets, Abubakar versus the Secretary of State for Home Department, 2022, EWHC 1183, into brackets, admin. And this is a decision from the High Court. So before we activate the telephone lines, let's listen to this advert, and then as soon as we come back, we will then continue the program. And for you, we will activate the telephone lines and take some phone calls. So by all means, don't touch the dial. Let's take the phone calls, and we will take it from there. By all means. Yeah, so let's go. Let's take the phone calls. Let's take the advert and we will be back.
Minyaba, any mammy do see, yet more to see, and the Pabia Minyaba, sorry, I'm more dealing complaining that I'm able to do. Sansuna Mebra, with Futani, or 2 engine, no paganting, the Kite Mercedes, there be Bierano, the wooden day, Niamay, or store, no dinner. May you answer on a pa and castle near her, and I said, no, we are Mreda. Sadam Papa, Nifia on time, also complaining that ten will be any or sorry, and a pana, no fancy kind or conif, me, a comet. Maduma may can use Name active, Name come back. Bierano, a bram de Madame Puna, yes, Nanso, sorry that no crank, said, who will be a man. Nina said, your secret. Tasem ayadura de boy oba ni nani kowa meshakuani ayadura onomo a ebo ni padua no e ma osi pi usita me kanfo ama o se wonso no no kowa mesani bi na babua na abo ni obusia na yare da ho eya nunum bi na obedia danse
wa UK obenya kwa mixer e wa Ghana Market, the Heart of Africa, ground floor, shop number 138 Church Road, Nisden, London. Obetumi afre 07514 433 148 and as 07464 636 604.
Kowa mesha ebusia emintase
Megafon, Uyamanka, wow, dan papa bi e wo Ghana na. Enso enam no kra asanti no. Who senya wo bet mani sika. Say yesisi wachi ma wo. Enti na ye ni Paradise City. Ye did this beautiful ultramodern city. Apartment Community 25. Who standard executive semi-executive quality buildings are. Ye ni Paradise City. Ye wo homa. Esanse ye di abrochre aba Ghana ntino. Ye payment terms no so. Ada phone book who penny self finance and as a mortgage. Paradise City. Oh, your telephone numbers here so. UK +447 908 475 802. Paradise City. Ye juma pa magana yefe ankasa. Okay, about the
for how any say and a wushu, justice and law solicitor said, Omodiana brand and young medi home como, on the mouth a futu, na say idea so to one more, on bed wow, no to one more. And immigration and answer nationality problems. Say yes, student application, family independent application. So pass it now, Kroma, and now lawyer binu jina one name or court amount, personal injury claims. Say employment, landlord and tenant issue or housing issue, family and divorce issues, drafting legal document, will writing, renting and leasing shop, lease extension. Open a juicy canon persuade amount. And you near Kawakuma to him now how you know to a trap. But more than any justice and law solicitors for Nkasa. 075-3896-9589. And I say 0207-738-5841. Bamodiana for justice and law solicitors. Na ye kwanya ye be faso ye be boa. Obe home ewo the Unit 35B Eurolink Business Center, 49 Efra Road, Brixton, SW21BZ. Like I said, we have Victoria Line to Bristol. Bus 2 3 37 415 432 689 690. Siwa St. Andrew's Church Pastor. Seba Emra Samudia baby. I hear any justice and law solicitors.
Amway a company kesiye omode niyama pa abedwa so omo niyama ni be a health product, beauty product and a home care product. Omo health product ni be a vitamins and as a food supplement. Beauty products ni be enso omo wo enku and as a mana ebema wo honam atoso already atoso sen no me. Home care products ni be samana yedi kuhuru kukuo mu ni yedi twitwi adwaye and emu de wo pe bia no ubetimi enya bi ewo Amway se ope emu nsematie ana se wo pe bi ato a yesrese fre owura Emmanuel Eshon ewo 075 076 30487 075 076 30487. And also say abelfo amansan tentan kese no so ubekunu o machira kwan ewo www.amway.co.uk/user/ms na ofre ora Emmanuel Eshon and also say wo tools and sa eko amansan tentan kese no so wo website no so a omuni ubedi nkita ho fefefe eno na owura Emmanuel Eshon beka cho say ende na online Amway a company kesiye amafo ababa ye tu kwa boy e bi tu kwa ya ye ko mo bra no bi ma do a Saria, and something else.
Hey, big kids up. Yeah, you want to go on too? Hey, big kids up. Telephone number, did you man? And you're 07538 969 So, what question after so much? Yes. Number there's some of friends. Number here 07538 969 589. Yeah, 20 minutes to cafe. Na editman ever na wie ye. It is some of friends. This is the time. Heavy. Yes, so open so from number in that DJ Ghana Sono and your 07538 969 589. And then you will get it's all about British nationality, obtaining British citizenship by deception, and potential consequences and actors involved, from someone who will sign the passport application form, the person who made the application on your behalf, how you obtain your indefinite leave, and how you came to the United Kingdom. Yes. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Now, Pacho did this and I can say free. Mammy, what my Dawson, young quay, and the area idea now, my
Why program out the fire, what about chili? Now, dear, about one kind of the same from 4 British passport. Was it a moon here? It was a moon here, so what you be.
That's right.
Yes, I know we encouraging for, but somehow woke up with some tell or no way yet. If you saw any pan only waste 7 minutes over here,
that's right.
Let's go down. On person will call him. Now, I make the set walk assassinate. One may share history so. Now, better was it. One may share normal big it's a payment down. And your program in my family, yeah, not. Yammy, who coming. And you know, and there was so far. And you could also one day. Come on, said the bayer. Never that we are which may not more day now. What they are betting on one now. Maybe my kind of so why you prove why you prove papa lawyer, and I make the password to wow that when one let them know why no one. And I said all kind of what time information that you are joining the week so. And it's one subscribe to the channel and have the information. Information is so quite one. This is a book appointment now to let's get out the call. Now, Kupisa. Until lawyer made that was Yami Shirao.
Yes, so yeah, that was it.
And it's Nana and kind and positive. My Baba Open. Michelle Muna, Yami Shirao. Now, I am time for Mammy, one compile bomb cacra. A son of home for no cacra. But I hope to serve you should be because who born out better. I'm on a near and I'm not see a gata.
That's right.
Yes, and you know, and I will be out here my wife. Say a kind of. Now, I want to marry the Bagazio. What did we say last week Sunday? Miss Uncle, baby. Mammy, I blame you begin of how I shall me. Was in the mammy. I said, no, I'm swimming with baby. Now, Fire Life Radio, now, with the baby. Ukoye show, Ukoya Nanti, Lancy, where you number buy the tea and buy. What's the sound? Nikosha, you're watching.
Oh,
na me kosi I don't say hey what dem back of you was yes no size me don't back
That's right.
Obviously for me don't never come.
I know.
Anti lawyer so mama Fire Live Radio after the cover be am akoye ni akese nti yakopon so nhira o say ye tena radio no so go wo tena so a wo benya normal be ni ade che.
That's right.
Yes,
so yeah, that was CP. Thank you for your continued support. Now, where the asma wakai, ama article be me reading and opeya about besi so pepe. Yeah, try phone calls no. Na me de ade so eba be fam especially e futu ama yenuanom nyinara. Na ewiase eye ejijejija. Oma ohun so sesei uwu a enipa de besi o. Enti wi aso wo ha no abro ho ase nyakopon ayede apagya. This week one of the newspapers are publishing here. Obi tina ne dem ne flat in ewu for over 2 years. Na obi anim se wu. Neighbors are complaining as a stench if you flat the mover. Landlord no housing association no and say oman take immediate action. Ti by the time omani ba omo ho so a omo hu say something is wrong with omo ko ni nipa na ewu ama ne skeleton ana egugu na konwum chese wawu a decompose am na ye skeleton a otikru mu a sebe amanfo concern no anye strong enough for people to push na omo hwe mu no na chese oni ni nua ba ko pene wo kru mu a ni nua ne so emese enema a koye ma no a ye se wo ye convict anaso obi a wakwa serve prison sentence aba enti emese na brabo de nsheda nko yesa tidi nua ne kra no emese on check na se enti ni nua ne wuto de mo no neighbors mu hu se smell center e free ne ho ne bande ano odin omo complaining ma if you run still if you are na nyehwe afede ne ma ano ye den anoma ano ye den after 2 years ana afede dem say complain here too much omo ko break in na mami na dani skeleton o decompose wa ne skeleton egu ne sofa mu in the end no de ko South Africa ana omo kwa kosie no na nebushia for say they don't understand. Because in African culture, most African cultures there, ayana obia check you obi hon kakra. Now when in Babylon by bus, abuchira brabo, ukobu so bi kra say no want to say ya. Eno kra no boy. Ade na bebu sabia. Say no want to say. And jakwese kromo so be my ni own business. But besa kasa same way. Asamampo epa dodo na atiasefo enti eye ese wiase wo ho a na do ho agigegija because ewiase obi aniwa we self sufficient eye die ya ebedru ba bi no obehia obi mu a anase obehia nipa ne nipa bia so ye nipa bia so wonfa so me hu obi embo na bomfia because of say ebia adum bia nyankopon aye wo de ebia no kita statute binti ebia suku kakra bakose wo binti ebia adwuma kakra ebia oya sebe society fi se edim esen obinti onfa buo emenipa na ewia so twu mu tan sebe anoma bia ni wa owu osoro a ne ntakra emafu na se won searchi sebeye woda enti se won sayem enkwan so a ede ana yesa echi ayiti anunti no wonna mafa ho jija because you never know enra me to my classmate ba ko frame me problem menye ni o maso ayeshi one phone call are solving the problem I had this half for 1 week, you know. Bibi bana give me say, my main friend ya da kon, ebia no ni mo bi obetimi aboa me. Or friend me it's okay, leave it for me. Mommy make a phone call, na me phone be so beti aboa. Me one phone call, me friend, I went back and I said problem solved. Obi so beti aboa. Friend nipa no, say. The problem was the 1 week am ni tipa ye no. Or friend me 10 minutes, you know, the problem is solved. It's a we say, e just say, odi ohun bejija, fa buo emenipa because ene obi abehu na opera platform na video fa buo ma no. E kira behu no na e bia otwi aeroplane. And also swear. Are you going to respect the person after you have got to know the person's social status ana? Enipa, nisi enipa. O ye wine, uwa, ye do be she fridge. Say fridge ye do be she mono. Sikani shem, ohiani shem, doctor shem, cleaner shem, obia shem. Ebia sebe, ohiani baby I didn't share, na daka didn't share when I now say fridge didn't share mono. Ye di pie ni the move at the same place. 6 foot under, we are all going there. Until if we are see the owa bobrapa, fananfo pa, nebuli pa, na edobeko fa. Obiaba yemfano. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Now, Pacho did they say?
This is accent.
Hey, Madam Scotland Abelande. Madam, when I do 11 crowd, no chasing, you know. On the 7 young Messameda. Hey, British accent.
I said, Nipane Kushuru. Say, me cousin, me try and me line.
And do the Takashi, Bremo.
Me yana sa ufa, na wafa, one person, I know.
Mefro, why? Na, Enra, no, my swine, my yet tight.
Yanisha, Papa. Hey, what teachings now with the band are so powerful. Very, very powerful. Say, ye tear niau king. Nay, the year to my 19 December. You ever got the whole year. To be honest speaking, I told you a bit now, I said, lawyer, we are there. What could you wait for her? No, what could you be for her? What just a baby, you are always learning. You are always and always learning to find something for us. Now you can cry now. You cry you mean ya but church na she afisa. Let's not become a Caribbean and that for the that's what you are. Honestly, no more about so far. We are the we're lawyers, but what dear, what they look for? Come on. We go about so far. Why are dear? Yet, they be we have some fufro, they be we have some fufro, they be we have some fufro. Nanisha.
Amen.
My question, I maybe Sunny say, 2024, there was just a passport, and I say, when the new law ever concerning a passport.
Okay, 2024, yen change passport, name biometric residency permit card, BRP card na home office will issue, and no na omo a from 1st of January 2025. Say, from 1st of January 2025, everything is going to be electronic. And nuntina sesia no sema obia card is valid until 31st of December 2024.
Oh, okay.
And sesia no say passport biano akwa biometric passport.
Okay.
And to share passport a barcode e bi ewo o picture nase. Sa barcode is linked to your status in the UK.
Okay.
And it says here from 2025, 1st of January, airport Ubedu airport, yes, scan no passport, Ubun's or status in Ababibuso. British accent, granted indefinite leave on the 10th of January 2028 until 10th of January 2038. And to go to passport and ever count your immigration no status, no address, no BBR.
Okay.
enti sa na akwakoye enu ti na home office as using the new scheme about say if you change your passport you must update them. Said the ya would new passport could do airport near Coscania and could show say uni bibia also. So more and it's a way application, for example, now say o passport is valid until 2023. Now you grant you indefinite and 2023 so ko new passport we ye new passport ni we so side ko home office no more update or more records no. Said the year 2025 1st of January o call your friend is saying disc off na say wo ba na say scanning new passport na e be refer to your status. Say one fan call amoma update no na wo be drew ho no na say unkita wo old passport na near scanning e be so ni stay wa wo be sa akọ na emom say wo old passport ni bo new passport ni ma almost scanning new one na mfa o be scanning old one e ba ko yaba na call baby.
Na say me say o passport I would year call home office so home office for a year now. I expire movie now person we new one. You say Ghana High Commissioner. It was say we do old passport now expire the call. Near mama. But say home office for a year now. How do you do the Ghana passport?
Say home office for a year now. A bit difficult kakra. It is important to say a request will have to be made to the home office to say you need your passport. To get anything from the home office at the moment is difficult. And it is a home office actual letter bro say I have a passport. Now what the letter no or there yet another application to the passport office, Ghana High Commission, no new passport. The American Assembly say Uko Ghana High Commission, na catch up say, o passport to home office, o man farm ba. On beka say a dear nature say o passport to home office. Okay. And you could get letter from the home office, bra. Nature say o no ma yirano. And as a one could get letter from the home office. Mistaken for ye. Or be report to send a passport in Ayira. Me was so no say home office. Nenti no o could get new passport. Ese o passport Ayira. Nasa didn't so the home officer. That should be no home office between cultural say you obtain your new passport by deception. Because the passport has not lost. And our culture say because I'm a Ghana Commission so new passport. Nasa will say old one naira. Almost the stamp people actually say previous passport is lost. Something like that. And to the home office will come because there be any way and now Kaka na de kwaji foforo. Into what control, I'm a diakoji for Entino, ye be how I can. Cause minimobia, na swan ye shepa, I was side with you. Cause the passport per car home office out of frustration, you know, I'm a reporter to Saira, I'm not calling new passport. After the application ko home officer, almost someone find a visa and man. Anybody so qualified power, name my British, when Gina the muscle de koje visa. Almost all qualified, name boom, passport nekita no, or you sue false representation. Anna Eddie obtained here from the Ghana High Commission, and therefore that passport is not valid because old passport is with them, it is not lost. And nobody no more battle to the point to say, "None the lawyer cry who do you be." I no be catching this old brother me. It was by I no say look, they gave me up. The application to the Ghana High Commission and explain mistake abem na omun kasa passport we. Na afi home office letter no ma de ba say o ma gi old one ato ade no ka say ayera no o use no mum and fa apply for a new passport enti afi no on the manner afi no obetumi akọ home office back o mutimi kan chere say we use false representation and as deception to obtain the passport they will be forced to give the visa and at the moment you know the visa na ma no even though enyam nam ye case no na on lawyer dada but obehu me no enya lawyer ne fault because a issue or no na create. To you catch and say look, there is no point in changing lawyers because there's a lawyer ne be an why e bia sa adwene we na amani tiri. Enti se ya me the idea na mame. A ye frɛ me kwakui a wa menyansa bebrebe. Metiri ya ama wa. Ana se na no ano. Mama both in the car na say, "Mo se kwakui ya nyansa ni." Nyame na me kai. Mama Mwasri, oh, sanity. Mama Boat, Yachiachia, also share, Kokuki, Yanseni. Koku for Dawasi. So, Pesofra, thank you, bye bye. Pesofra should be to me afraid. The number no continue to be 0753896959. And to also be to me afraid, go so air calls. Mamu Freya need sorry. We can only take one phone call. And you know, also where they will be. There were 2 minutes. Also, let me have friends. Men very hard. Yeah, we are sure that Pepe or any Pia. As you move on to other things. It's a year offer when I am a young business say, I am intimate show in life. They are not going down Roma. They say, Katari and Yabi. They say, I started a Juma. No fears, no worries. I saw your Juma. Your Juma didn't and the discover here. We are Sika, we are Bema. Sika Moja. Yes. Abrocha Bravo. And not here to Batabel Cromwell, beating and coaching, Justice and Law Solicitors, Unit 35B, 49 Efra Road, Brixton, London, SW21BZ. Our number is 0207-993-5976 or 07538-969-589. Yes. That's right. Madam Scotland, your church. Yes. Madam Coco, your church. We both did one year of one day. Yami Eshida and how Emma Sana fire. That's right. Heavy. Your church. Yes, Madam Coco. Madam Scotland, Mabelandi. Hello.
Here no program on it. Then person in home and where will be trained my fancy so say. A ya me Mr. Me lawyer now and yet piano yet entitled for the pension. Sika, but me the minimum say me me the national insurance and I'm beside clear me tax. It is a customer in future me entitled
I am say on your problem one church we anchor one church we anchor ye pension no you different types of pension you state pension and you private pension now I am the so business same way state pension no your contribution so one year juma na one contribute to your national insurance. Udu pension age, I want to hear some unya pension. And untina, and who be here say, obey a juma, ever umranti ring, said ye ya, oya akokra, oya brewa, ubenya pot, pension pot, and that's what we do in Saboom, knowing you be a shop or how far. And it's a way juma, there's a number of years from my head, it's about 20 to 25 years, which we are going to contribute to SAR. You qualify for full state pension. Now state pension, I am now and soon for 40. And looking at buying another pension and bar, a year private pension. Obia Juma money biano is being forced. Until your 2 pension Libya, not employer no is also forced to pay some of the pension for you privately. And most companies, AUC companies, visit Nest, Aviva, any de kika. And therefore, who 2 pensions if that is the case? And 2 budget or private pension, ejuma we no, what save and abesage state pension, abino, esodebemo through NI. Obi owa, onye na dwene so obeye ejuma, enti oni private pension. Ana onye na dwene so obeye ejuma enti ontua NI so. Some crofone no mu through old age. Na afil age problem no. Hita kura no ontimi so because pension credit e be ma no say qualify for state pension and then my pension credit no pension credit no ASN kwa e be 50 pounds a week. Obeda didi, obeda so electricity, obeda so gas, obeda yesing. Enti abane sana won say so be said we dey a stereotype. Some microphone bi anopo sorry na akogire supermarket. Otimi chiri supermarket ni mu sa for 5 hours not a bottle of milk. We ma dey kronjia because ni fie heat ani wo. Oda wa obi. Enti obedi nam supermarket dey kasa ahye nkrofo saa. Ni nyina no dey heat. Enti obu a supermarket and oba no better bread no take 5 hours. Just a piece of bread. Of no in am shop ni mu. Oh my, how are you? No, the casa show. No, the casa. Or don't you come 30 minutes? Or go away 10 minutes? Or go away 10 minutes? 5 minutes? Not just say, or they are spending time. Because Okofia, on to me, because he tends so 12 hours. On to me, and that is the strategy. Obu was run a better shopping center. Now, OG heat. Because if you on to me, and so heating so because on to me, and non tina de be a casa same way. As a oya baba, oya brantie. Ah, wesiswa. Sa do no. Se enya ho kire pa. Men kwotena so emwo. Because se wo de man na eye ke enti na abegi do. E kire bi no enkra no eni wo biem. You don't have any excuse. We do pension age. Pension you don't qualify. Afi ma pension credit. Afi at the age of 70, afi you are forced to go and fight over mob to get a job. Entina eye futu aye na no esi etu ye hofo. Na ye hwe me maybe because it's a joke. You know, it's a joke. Eso hu abrante bo betin aye adwuma. Osimi nya adwuma na otifie. Ababa wo betin aye adwuma. Osimi de meye lazy. Emusika no medi bi nsa na mawu. Yes, we bedi o. Na e bia wu mu. Afobedu old age, you know. Esa ka wunye sika na wo enjoy wo pension no. Eho na wo ho paapai wo. Eho no obi a woku ne ho eye adwuma e wo ne mranti brem. Ono take me easy. Na okọ holidays. Na se oji nani na obi ti wo onti ase o se akwa radio. Hwe minim Jamaica ni bi na afutu ade ma amini. Odi 6 months for UK, no akodi 6 months for Jamaica. Obi a wodi 78. Uhu na asa small boy. Ni chase da ni kom, ahye ne ring, or ye guy rough. Or ye guy ankasa. Me hwe ne sana say
not just automatically no edwuma bia no. Omo te ye apart from anyway no. Omo te way pension.
Private pension ababa ye law 9 Nigeria bi wo hon ma obema option say you can opt out. Obi wo a open obedi ewu nti obe opt out because we scan in ya. Enti adwuma no, the more contribution you make, the more there is a liability on the employer also to make more contribution for you through the private pension scheme. Enti no sana akwa ye. Enti personally very important as a government and compulsory. Me saying I'm a self-employed. I pay my state pension through national insurance. I also have other insurance, Aviva and Nest, which I also pay into it. Said ya dachi bi me ko pensioner me expect me basem ba na me hwe me. Me ba no wan sem se me wo no. Ana me dey sa bedi na ba beto ne so. Ese chinchina on se on na me hwe me. Enti no your mindset na se change no. Obu owo akra ba wiase a ofisi we du eburo. Enti akra ni nyini a chinchina esa akra na me hwe no. Sebe wo to sisi mu no na obani ni wo bi o. Wo ji wani na abani ni wo bi. Wan so se wo no. Wo na pa won asem ko wo no. And therefore it's your responsibility to look after your child. It's not your child's responsibility to look after you. It will be sure a lot of a bonus. And the pension area is very, very important. One contributed today, a China, there will be nothing there for you. Even a sorry cry, you say you're too tight, not a one to be not sent to her. Officer, sorry, you feel. I won't feel because as some bar, oh, Freya, I never type book, I quote your title, I would your title, forget it. And Tisana etie. And Tiamo, your home order. Now you're to me and contribute towards insurance, both private and state insurance. Said they are your pensioner, receiving a BBAD. Ubu what one ma or say, oh, me pension will crumwa. Sanity, what was an pension tamacho? What was an now Babel, not Babel, Okogana, you don't fit in. No, I say Ganiaba. Wouldn't prefer Okogana say Ganeva, Bebre. Sanity, yeah, your crew, so you do a strangers. Udru Ghana also top bottle of water. Or show skin, say they see that so now, a 1p cross the 10p. No, the boo. Or better than I'm here. Sanity. I hope say you answer a question now. Me say I hope say you answer a question now.
I want answer.
That was CP. Another caller by your father na your name. Hello.
Hello, lawyer.
Hello, that is say.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
When I was treating Broadway.
Whitney Broadway. I'm quite Whitney. Bibi aboko wade.
Boko.
Me saka message na so enti ye hwe wani.
Me ba Monday na my family was sick papa.
Anya big deal.
I don't know. Tell me that was yafa. They say me sure. Na me sure na me who tell me kanafa.
Yeah, fa na see me nyame.
Yeah, me person visa on say. Me wo there's a 3 pension. Private pension.
Yes.
Now, according to say, and I mean stop away. According to say, company no, the first company no, the pension form jai pension here. Almost stop away. Time na, me stop away. Juma na negotiate problem na, me court work. Me people no,
yeah.
So over 2 years ago.
Yes, me kai fa.
Until almost stop away. Now pension. Almost stop away. But say uncle was so much me what I say. With your most stop away to pension. Your farmer when I say your moody me pension call. But every month they are almost 75, 85, 65. But me from no more for 11 pound, 10 pound. Now, no much more than that. Evidence one here, me sure against amount, but me fair company no. So I'm for me pay slips no mama na nwe. But me go so young way juma, me person me won say, sa no mo titi me because now me kai say 75 ni ade, and now on mo titi free my ade mo.
Yeah.
But me kasa ho.
Yeah.
But I do want mo na me hu and ko na wo ma ba be hu na wa de hu juma ma.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel so 3 pension, no me person me bisa o say. Me fana nyina nkan bomu ana say me jai wo baby e wo no.
A $1 million question in the sense say okaboma a money very simple for you to know where you stand. And I say different ones so sometimes
I quite to say companies we
different companies, yes.
First one no and omu jai na akoye 3 no. I say one company akoye 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean what different companies so
yeah.
Sunlight.
Yeah.
Different company, different
pension provider.
Different company job.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same job I mean.
Yeah.
Well, but a different company.
Yeah.
It's the same job.
Yeah. I mean a choice. Opa ubetimi aka ni nyina abom na akọ one place. Na me ma dwene mu no.
Say according to say ejuma ba ko no omukita pension for omu daily.
That's right.
And another company so kita company omu daily.
Mate de wo kan say.
We wo kwan say betimi aka che ni company ni say. Ni pe ba ko ana menye ni say.
Ubetimi aka che baby apese wo keep sika nyina no your pension provider no. You call them and say ABA. May ye analysis example. Pension provider A, pension provider B, pension provider C. And I will decide say o pese o pension in call pension provider A. In that case, you ring pension provider A and tell them say, oh, other pensions with pension provider B and C. Now pese omu take you over nina. Ombe bro form be amwa fairly deed of transfer. O fairly we are omo ankasa edibeko A and edibeko B and C akɔgye wo pension ni nyina e de aba omo na it will come under one umbrella for you. Na me no de misro wo ho ne say some of the pension providers, before you know, they can go bust. A co buster, what is going to happen to your money?
Okay, so I said me join sir.
And me saying the pension and two providers. And two the bako buster, at least no bako da wa ebe so stay in the kakra. Because somebody may ex in now go one basket in then in papa. Me nya yoku na medi. And you know me personally, you know, I look at the risk and I'm swinging. What dear baby or when I am. And me return to an 22 hour. So the emma said baku kure gane and I said baku kure ni hobi ma. Say 10 pound they say me nyam 5 pound. Yes, say half a loaf is better than none. And that is the view I may take. But obiani said we see mum say. Aha. And to be mum dear, me pension providers you too. Bako air frame and say how much me say massa. Me see care that one the better was the 10 pound the paper. Nothing is better than zero. It is an me buy media. Okay, with our CP.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. No, wa be so free bias bit me ajo so ye fair last call and ye fetch me dey man we about 115 na e say upon 1 pepe na e me say afi na amount for course na eba into the ye fair last call and ye fetch me dey man we ye 07538969589 ye fa ka actually ye fa dwumadi no emra na we ye twen na e bi cancel ye fa nwum yi enkai no Mary from Poma. Birmingham.
Oh, Mary. What's your way to my wife? Every friend. What's your way to my wife? But if I say, who want to give him one now? Who want to walk? If you say, what in your dog? And you own your dog, and you're here to my Mary, but you and me.
Yes, 0753896959. The program is brought to you by Justice and Law Solicitors. We are based at Unit 35B, 49 Efra Road, Brixton, London, SW2 1BZ. Baby, I'm Wobiara. Yami Jamo. Yachiacha Musoso. Abicha Boy. Heavy Crystal. Yes. Abeni Yen Oko. Musa Hose so se wo pa e de de be kai wo abrocha brabo din obi te Ghana no oli ofa pen ofa paper na o demande wanya bia fa mana o se akwai tiri mo den me so ne na wan fa mre mi on me se woni bi mponti na wanti nyam fa ma the fact is one fa no it's a sentence. Obubi wa brochira Jacob bo de kana sam osi pesi mane no ate pesi broni onu pa odini kro awoba no osun yes wo bibiri na be de an ye fa chechi ebe wa te and you see that the journey ever na we yes. Yes, Professor Farah and Farah. Last caller. Yes. Abanisa Samaranko. Kakra me do go fear. Me do go fear. When they can't take it to man, no. Oh, yeah, she. Also check the Maria on your shit. Anyway, dear with Jack Rani House. Me do the coffee. Ajima Boy. Me do the coffee. Yes. Yes, yeah, for last call and yeah, for Jumadian Emran and we yeah, Ajima Fway, and you do go fear Fway. Ucha, or catch Maria only Nambia. Aye. Yeah, last caller, yeah, for an effort with Nevi. Hello, caller.
Hello, lawyer.
Hello, now what you did is I can say free.
If you are bigger than free ready.
Bigger than from reading, Hobeland, the young quay, Sabucha Brabo, Ucha, catch Maria only Nambia. Ajima Fwana must say. Me do be coffee, no mo hwe ye ai. So na twa take it ba ya, and you tumi say the coffee. Say you na twa take it ba ya dia, hwe ye because obi ka say, wo sa kwawi, ana wa yi mi say na. Enye nhira wo. Na adema amanfo ye egu abrabo mu no, eye duabo nko a. Eti yenye papa. Na enema papa emra ya brabo mu. We are a reflection of what we do and what we think. If you think evil about someone, it will reflect on you. Until we are saying, you know, yen sheni and you be an edin bone. Ubu a would din bone on fanche wo. Baby or do be fano. Wabra boom no soda. Obi also on fanko baby or dinano. I know a didi meko editing chile. I know a tasting so editing sa. Obi na no, I can't send a top. One shady. That will be the end of you. Make a cool métier, mano, papa, till they can't name is because me can a bim. Machadi no. I try not to say to be negative or say negative stuff. It is a little bit dealing as when I create negative. I try to stay away from the person. And you be because I put the positive mind. I show what you man. Hey, I didn't know you know. I dear wasn't ready. But Miss Coleman will testify. Nikesi Baye, it was a very difficult case. Mr. Mami, you will win this case no matter what. Believe in me and trust in me. Let's fight this case together. I've done similar cases and we have won. Case called Scotland. Chinchina, I almost say no. You have to go and get Scottish lawyer to represent you. I say no way, no problem. With a Scottish lawyer, I will do everything that I can to help you. Scottish lawyer, if you say this, you prepare case, you know. Or no, no, only free no. Or say no, Mr. Darkon has done everything. I don't need to do anything. Now, sometimes, you know, a good prophet is never appreciated in his home country. But media, Omo support me, Omo appreciate me. I also appreciate you and thank you. Because it's not easy to have your own people to praise you. To be fair, radio so no praise me and your Bible. And yensa no adwuma ene achede ani nyansa yakopon de amaye ya faso egi enkrofo efi ohaw mu ene koda endem me man fancy me say me lawyer. I went to law school without doing, I went to university without even doing law. Me and your calling and I dey yakopon frame say wo utwu mu tai eno na be Jonah yakopon soma na say wonko no se de to no densu bonsu emede no ede ne koto baby on beso obeko media edwuma na meye no eye calling eye nyankopon ne dia ma me say this is what you can do to contribute to your community and to your society and to the world at large. Because of that inti nyankopon so fa kon be so hira me obi to beba yanim bia no ebe ye inshirama no, so shall it continue. Big Adams ewe die yensuro hwe 100% support, you know, into Sada Pity. Big Adams, Yanko, and I didn't miss your yama.
Well, every day now, my friend, I'm a boy, Basso. Now, my show cry. Now, my consul said, we why am I let me get behind. And I was it, I'm sure. Now, I checked you also ever come and fire and for the tea food in the show. So, let me get behind. I'm breaking Fiji at all, and tea except party. So, well, the only do some more about soon say, you man at the brow, they do, community answer a baby. I'm a friend, my mom was very, the
Yamiasi. Yeguso, Yedikunim, Yediko.
Program, I think that I'm a flow of the program.
No problem.
Yes,
so that was a part for your continued support. Papa, it's me trapping all the way from Reading to Brixton. And you be PNTO. Lawyer say we go reading. From Reading to Brixton. Equanimu, a big go be. And so, or do, or my. And you are not supposed to support me, dear Munti, or Casa Quay, Edeba. Now, the Bianca say, Anna Emme Fe, Anna Sayemi Mama. I don't be something who say, Intimini one can make us up when we are now. A quantin transportation crown, say ye easy. And so or da any Gidia Munyan we Muntino. The Biamukas are when we obit me to the car all the way from Wolverhampton. Obi so a lawyer was it there be I will drive you there. And I tell me getting one, I don't mean Tiasi. I don't get it. Enti echere say we ada ho no odo mi wusu so am yi beba beda mo se pa Yakobon chire mu yes
it will be by it should say no matter what the case is there be that was it
Mososo meda mase pa na we dey ba be ko dey na me fa nwum we enna mase sa nwum we ayi nana tabiri ne boy wose ye fe na abrantewa metie nwum ne mu nsem na aya ekikime obi ka nwum na kikime wote nwum na ti mu say yes nwum ne koye pa emu nsem susu koye na no so ate ye ka high life when you finish say high life oh everybody nyame me se nwum we me tie nwum na che say utie mu nsem a me say oh David anyum ne ekiko anyum ne bruta na na tabri o se abrantewa anyum na eye anyum a che say ekoyi pa you know eye anyum a me ametie ye metimu say sana etie timidi nyumwe e jamu anyum se me twe kra e ma no aya se mo wani abre na apanyum na anyum na kodoje o chiri muta ye bebo o chiri muta ye so okay no problem why yeda wasi p anyumi me bonyumi e de adamu nyina masi eye anyuma emu nsem so very very powerful ana metie nyum so to be honest it shows say if you are say who appreciate people who appreciate you people who appreciate you and also no so no asire Yakobon enshira ama obi biara oye de opewu yie opese obi bia esoso eye de esi yie ema enti very very important esi we are so de obi bibi na se eye wo fa mani hu se de waye no weni eye de eso enti no sa na etie enti anyu anyu na pese beba ba twi mu tan ebe yi na pie ye mfa papa yi was ye twa manwum na ba okay hello good afternoon to you. Na pacho din de say na kase free.
Pacho friend Victoria because of Germany.
Victoria Germany yanko.
Pacho. Me pacho me won kwada mi ensa na be ma na me ne wo ye no. Almost say okita to the krata mi no and na okita fake driving license. Nti amo match no agene krata na je menen kra na nsi nyina krata evidence
Ewa Germany and I say UK.
Me bacho Germany na me pese kan omo so mama e 1 month e was a free Germany hanyasa omo de me pufie na ka se me free Germany ba UK na me se be ya
a bit difficult kakra en krasa be the kita na say krasa be the kita ukuna no
me pacho ka this month in nka omo be ma enkra ne e ha no mo de ni bi e no mo de ache papa
wow unfortunately me cover German law And he said, "Can be actual about German law?" And me say, I will give you wrong information. Most seeking legal advice, my lawyer be at their tuning. Me besides a mom lawyer be at their tuning.
Me patron, me were lawyer, and lawyers now, you come on the natural say no. Papa me outside or inside. Into or to me because we hear more information and papa level. And also yentin and kentilo.
Anna, o man so more Germany ho.
Me patron, me back and antafo.
How many years roughly speaking?
Me patron, penny no this month no been 4 years, and antafo no so 1 year, 6 months.
I'm on feel almost sister. Yeah, a bit difficult, Kakra, because I was looking at European Convention of Human Rights, Article 8, but almost age, you know, because normally it's already 7, and according to Western culture, no, it would be unreasonable to expect the child to leave a country, even if the mother or the father does not have papers. There is a precedent for that. Papa no. Nenkrata no nya ye no ehun wa sema na say driving or driving na e di problem aba
me patron krata ne ye who nears them but me lawyer ne chere me say o man who fail driving licenses dem go le home and o mo ma ka kutia but one kutia
right
yes
chere na ko fa sa problem we aba no German law, I mean, I don't know anything about German law. I was trying to look at international law, European Convention of Human Rights, which Germany is a signatory to. I want to be a bit near a bit of a room. And so I saw the back room as well. I say room what the name I to only legal means I did be rema. It's not advisable. We do on more likely say if you sue you do detention to deportation. Not just say what the your friend is saying. My friend is saying. So and you know make us say bia Germany no I'm not so sure, but let me see this. I don't know. Me who say blogger bi aya we get program or Facebook or say minim so betimi aboa ebia just so hwehwe nachi ebia obehu obi a ebia they might be able to help you. The entire make us say sometimes you know so be a wunia baby obeka cho se fa na esi no so be ohoho a on kan cho se fa na esi ho mpacho what you say anything na an esi efie pete odi a ebika abontisu ni die obewa yo nkase because never be one man onimo no obey straight to the law. O me kan chi o me bo na nim chiro na dan kwa akoto asemu. But ebia so be ewunu a otini ka cho say ahade so ko ni say ebi ko say ko ni say ebi ko say na wan ka so afa ho adwene. But enya de a obi a wonu unu a obe ma say details no. Na I am he has come across or say me say ni Facebook page na sa adwempa hene on bibisa. Em sa adwempa hene ase bibisa o Germany ho no. Let me say Matis wetin aboa nkofo bi kakra bi true lawyers so enti ebi ono be hu lawyer bi obetini aboa enti de hwehwe na chi ne fa ne fa to nanim ne tie de wo ka ebi obetini anya lawyer bi a ebi a lawyer minim ne nti no lawyer ne be ye e be flexible with you actually baby so de fa ana say de esa wo ye patro so ati asa aha ebi a ene mo betini aboa why all the best. Why? And you know, a cool yes, the could be an army as one. Said I may so a which man and then I had the vim, a castle for had a rate because as it's me boy home. But that's a pee. Why? Tibesaka said, Monfanu way, come and dance, yet the devil in almost was say. Now not a brie and the boss I knew way, then you know a cool ye pa. For you now, many of the father must say, Yakapu in Ara, then in a papa must say, but you can be a Yara, then I don't shira, and patent. Asubie. Sika. Asubie. Ana ewa. Madam Whitley, Michael Abba, Madam PC, Lucy, I'm watching. Everybody enter Abigail Johnny. When I come on and to Christian Hayden. When I come on and to Michael Aqua. When I come on and to see, I was saying, when I come on and to Charles Emery. Yes, sir. Now, I'm out by 10. Some are saying, now come on and to she lost season slide. Then Papa said, when I come on and to Nana appreciate John Bruma offering after the first. When I come on and to Nana he must support. When I come on and to I Brabash. Yes, I see the account. Maria Moringa Sunday. Now come on to open a woman. Anybody knows what we Yes, I see the account. Who made the guest and oh, great, who want it? I'm strong. I'm into I'm on the eye. Cynthia of Fabia. Nyame ento kwam.
Debi ayi ampa ya me bo ane se. Bi awurade aka me so mo ame no a. Awase bo wa mo re.
Ena ekwa bo me bo ne se. Obi Nyankopon. Ate na ko se obo bi biara. Nyankopon enya dia ento ne kwam. Yes.
For se do se. Adoye ni asemu o. Awdaso ni asemu o.
Awdaso ni asemu. Ahiye enya asemu.
Then first them say go. And people then
What a beautiful song. Yedemu ina mose, yedi nyame chamo. Obi ahwe ne ho so ye. Next Tuesday and Monday, the weather is going to be extremely hot. Sebeya atinefie. Enye sa so bibia beku bia no, fensu ediwechi. Because weather no, it is anticipated say enkufu bi wu, because the weather is going to be extremely hot. Enti men ko she suit enfa nkofa sa weather we mu. Uye mistake ube wu. E wo say we she bibia ye light. Ya dark on, wo me say ma she short sa. Men didi matem me penkwantia. Because men kofa bibi e me chichire me ho sebe e me wu nkwase ewuo. E man krofo ma me yi ase me san kwase yasa. E me di nkwase adidie enkofie enkoka se ye good. Obi ewu no, ye say ye good. Enti yen hwe ye hu so yi. Se shorts na say wo sha she shorts. Because weather no, it has been ridiculous. Bonsem jemukran fa ne huni. Enti ebesremo, prevention is better than cure. Yen hwe ye hu so yi. Na you make sure say we have water with us, we drink enough water. Next week said the ya you bit me akopu with the extreme heat na airban. Enti lo yadako me di Nyankopon jam. Next week you better say ehie biem. Next week ebe adoption, de facto adoption. Eno na retwetwe ho enkomo. Say adoption po say any home office for list ne so as a recognized adoption. Is there anywhere adoption at any home office for list ne so will it be accepted as an adoption? Next week and never be the home komo. Me di Nyankopon ejamu nyina. Nyankopon enshira na onye mokesi. De dama kuma so bia, oma mu nyansa, oma ma hoden, oma mu the means said you meet me achieve your goals. Enti no, ye kokoto adwani ma ye be kan mo. Wosum kokoto adwani ma mo nka ye. Na empaibo ana ma ye vim, e ma ya hoden. 10 years since 2010. In fact, 12 years I started saying a live program on the radio. Any Madam Roma, Debia Senior Biba, in your Bibeka, the future so ba. Yankopon coming in our home, now on Yam Wakesi, Yankopon shall be bia. Monsho Musuye, because the Krumwa say and go for 40s, one move. And yen try na yen exercises so. Late eating, yeah, avoid it. Because emwa, yen more almost die from blood pressure, and yet easy. And when I say case about me, will be blood pressure now 190. Not what you want more. Until I see a fat cab heading Panko Hospital straight away. Because the hospital you're in charge of Undrieska, a dentina, or blood pressure, cost and now what you want more. what was an about for what you know. Minianum, Yabasi Baby Pisca. Baby Pisca, you make sure say, Sikana ye peno, we will be alive and enjoy the money. And yes, sir, ye do niscanitiasi. And yes, Kabiasun yedi, but my bar for the carna sem will be a sikashi be botum. Tiscarunia be so one way dibi. Now me Kaiser Ashton. Now ubi one ye felunya be a d when ye be a da, needy no. And Tiscadunya be a mescanunsu. Mescanu say yes, also soon you are enjoying. Because at the end of the day, why enjoy is kana? Someone will come and enjoy it for you. And to all working hard, when it's necessary, enjoy small. Sunday be a sanity. You work hard, you enjoy hard, you play hard. That is life. And you didn't eja will be a Yankopon can be a home. Yankopon a boy will say share next week again. During the course of the week, there's also any update if you have very short audio. Now, once again, make the Ababe to Justice and Law Facebook page. It is a own subscriber, Fire Life Radio. Own subscriber, subscribe with these 2 pages because updating now, I want to be the better. Said the ya tier for any followers. Everyone the air coso, or hima abra, hima a country. Now, on so and said we see a session near Marfa. Before that, the young boy Jamuna, Yabeko, now the Jume day in you. Yakwa to us. Ain't no one thing can be with the nature say, Obikaye, oh, you are done. Au revoir, bye bye.